Hello and welcome back to Will It Work? Today we're going to take a look at pairing a GameCube controller to the iPhone. Now in the last few weeks I made a couple videos with retro controllers that I attached to a USB adapter, which made them act as a mouse on the iPhone, and we were able to play some touch control only games. Just to be clear, we're not going to do that today. We're going to pair the GameCube controller over Bluetooth as an actual controller and play games that support controllers. So how do we do this? Well, the first thing I'm going to show you is this. This is the GBROS Adapter from 8BitDo, and it allows you to connect GameCube controllers and classic controllers to either the Nintendo Switch or a PC. So it has a little toggle switch here, one for the Nintendo Switch, and the X is for the X input, which Microsoft uses for their Xbox One controllers on Windows. This also works on Mac OS X. When I bought this a couple years ago, it was so I could play Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2 on the Dolphin emulator, and that X setting works just fine on Mac OS X. I tried to pair it with the iPhone then, and it didn't work, but I didn't think anything of it because Apple only allows MiFi controllers to pair. Since then, they've added PlayStation 4 controllers and Xbox One controllers. And one of my viewers pointed out to me that there's a way to get non-supported controllers to work on the iPhone that I didn't know about. So I'm going to show you that right now. So if you go into Settings and you go down to Accessibility, Switch Control, Switches, and Bluetooth devices, here you can add certain controllers that Apple doesn't normally allow you to pair. And I don't completely understand what this is, but it's definitely geared towards people with mobility challenges, so I think they're letting them use certain controllers to navigate the iPhone better. It's not a blank check. The Nintendo Joy-Con controllers, for one, will show up here, but they don't pair. Same thing if I have it set to the switch method on here, this will not pair as well, but it will with the X input setting. And I think that's a combination of things with Apple allowing certain devices to pair here, and then also supporting the Xbox One controllers now, and the two things just kind of align, and it works. So we're going to turn on the pairing here. I'm going to plug in the GameCube connector, and it will show up right here. And there it is, it's connected. And you know what? From now on, you can just go to the regular Bluetooth setting and connect and disconnect from there. You don't have to go back into this accessibility portion to do it from now on. Once you add it here, you can treat it just like any other Bluetooth controller, MiFi controller, or Xbox, PlayStation controller. So that's really nice to know. So now that we're connected, let's go back. I'm going to show you one other thing that is new in iOS 14. And that is under General. Let's go back one more. Go under General, and if you have a controller paired, you'll get this game controller setting, and in here you can do things like identify the controller. Now you may not hear it, but let's see if we see this vibrate. There it goes. So we know it's working. Another cool thing about this is that you can go in and remap all the buttons to your heart's content. Now, I'm not going to do that right now, but it will come in handy later in this video. So now that we've got the controller set up, let's test it out on a game and see how it works. Okay, so this is a game called Xenowork, so let's play it with the GameCube controller. So this works like you'd expect. Control with the left thumbstick, rotate with the right, B brings up a map, X changes the weapons, and we fire with the right shoulder button. Okay, let's clear it out. One more in there. All right. And that's it. Works exactly as you expect. And this is great because I really like the GameCube controller. But there's one more thing we can hook up to this that you might find a little more interesting. Let's take a look. Okay, so these are the DK Bongos, a special controller for the GameCube that worked with a couple of rhythm games that came out for it, as well as a side-scrolling platformer called Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, which was the first game my son learned to play because of the relatively easy controls. Hit this to go right, hit this to go left. I've seen some people attach these bongos to the Nintendo Switch using a USB adapter, download a very simple game, a Flappy Birds type clone that only uses one button, and just play the game by pounding on one of the drums. But I'm thinking we can do something a little more sophisticated, because believe it or not, there's actually 5 buttons on these bongos, not 2. There's one here, one in the back, and a microphone here that you activate by clapping. So I thought about what we could play, and pinball came to mind. I really like pinball, and it'd be cool to use the 2 drums as the flippers. On most of these pinball apps, the flippers are the shoulder buttons in the back of the controller. So using that new controller configuration option we have in iOS 14, I moved the shoulder buttons up front here and A and B to the back, and just assign the microphone to something that we're not using. So let's see how that works. Okay, this game is called Black Knight 2000, so I'll start it up. And as you can see, the flipper works. Here's the problem though. These games are either touch controls or controllers, not both at the same time. So most pinball games have a manual plunger to get the ball in the playfield. I can't drag it down because we're in controller mode. And normally you would pull the right thumbstick down to simulate pulling the plunger out. And I can't reassign the down motion of a thumbstick to a button. It's not that granular in iOS 14. So on the surface, it would seem like we can't play pinball with this. However, by the time the 90s rolled around, a lot of the pinball games had replaced the manual plunger with just a button or some kind of a gimmick like a gun where you pull the trigger. Either way, it's a digital switch. And on this app, that has been assigned to the A button. So let's see if that will work. Okay, so this game is Terminator II, and it doesn't have a manual plunger. It has a pistol that you pull the trigger on to plunge the ball. So it's essentially a digital switch, and this app has already mapped that to the A button, which I have mapped to the back of the drums here. So if I press that, we should be in business. We'll start the game, press A to plunge, and that does it. See if I can do a post pass here. Very nice. Let's try one more ball. Try another post pass here. There we go. Nah. So this one is Medieval Madness, and this just had a big round button that was like push here to plunge the ball. So again, map to the A button. So we'll start it up. See if we can blow up this castle.
I am the Earl of Ego, and I am far superior to you.
There we go. So we've gotten the GameCube controller to work with the iPhone, which is really neat because I love it and I know a lot of other people do as well. And if you're a little more adventurous, you can also use the DK Bongos on the iPhone and configure it with certain games and have a lot of fun with it. And it works great on pinball. I really hope you're enjoying these videos. Please like and subscribe. I will be back soon with more. But that's all for today. Take care.